Hi, I hope you guys are keeping well. So we are on page number 35, so we'll just continue with wherever we stopped for the chapter 2 stories about flying. So, as you remember, this story was about how a mother is trying to encourage her baby seagull, one of the baby seagulls who's not, who's struggling to fly on the other opposite side of the plateau. Let's see what happens. So then he completely forgot that this is on page number 35, the last paragraph. Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly and commended himself to dive and soar and curve and shrieking shrilly. So this is the same baby seagull who was struggling to fly and who was crying and starving because he assumed that the moment he would dive, his feathers are going to break and then he's going to fall. But when his mother comes with a piece of fish in her beak, and when she's trying to scrape the fish as the baby seagull likes, he just could not control his patience and he dived. And that is the time when he realized that his feathers are opening and he could feel the air in his chest, and he's flying. And at the same time, he also started appreciating commandments. He's appreciating himself for his ability to fly so beautifully, and he's trying to drive. That means he's going down, and then he's coming up, and then he's spinning in the sky, and he's making all those. He's shouting shrilly. Shrill is a very very peculiar voice, something that goes in your ears, as a means of excitement. He was near the sea now. Now the baby seagull is near the sea and flying straight over it, facing straight out over the ocean. And the baby seagull is flying right on the layer of the sea, of the ocean, right on top. He saw a vast green sea beneath him, and he can see all the green things, the species, the fish, and everything in the sea, with little ridges moving over it. And he turned his beak sideways and cawed amusedly. And when he saw the beauty of nature and he saw these beautiful scenes, he started cawing. Cawing means he started making a very harsh cry, started shouting excitedly. So, his parents and his brothers and sister had landed on this green flooring ahead of him. Remember, his parents, his mom, dad, and his two brothers and sister, they were flying ahead of the baby seagull. They were beckoning to him, calling shrilly, and they were calling the baby seagull. He dropped his legs to stand on the green sea, and he's trying to stand on the sea. His legs sank into it. He screamed with fright. Remember, he's flying, and suddenly he wants to experiment how would it be if he tries to stand on the sea. And suddenly, when he realized that he's dipping in, he's going inside, he started shouting with fear and attempted to rise again by flapping his wings. See, God has given every creature with I should say, an inbuilt character. So, as a seagull, these things are not taught, but a seagull knows how to fly, how to come back, and they are so good in hunting, in fishing, that they can fly, and that they can dive in the water, catch the fish, and come out. That is one of the best features of a seagull. His legs sank into it, sink past and sank in the water. But he was tired and weak with hunger and could not rise. Remember, the baby seagull had not eaten the other day, the previous day, and so the baby seagull was very left with no energy and exhausted, very tired by the strange exercise. And suddenly, the same seagull who's so frightened, suddenly the same baby seagull is diving and curving and doing all these different exercises, which leaves him with very less energy to fly. His feet sank into the green sea, and he's sinking. And then his belly touched it, and he sank no farther. He's dipping in the sea. Belly is the tummy. He was floating on it. And then he realized that he's not sinking. He's floating on the water. He is trying to swim, and around him his family was screaming. And that is the time that he realized that he has developed another skill, that he can not only fly, but when he's trying to dive in the water, he's not sinking, he's floating on the water. And his family is screaming, appreciating, praising him, and the beaks were offering him scraps of dogfish, and they were all carrying food, dogfish that he loved, and how he used to love to tear that fish, and they are feeding him for learning to swim and learning to fly, learning to do things that he was supposed to do as a seagull. He had made his first flight, and this is how this baby seagull learned to fly. Interesting. So we'll do the question answers. Um,